what are some of the things that we as hirers, as sales leaders should be looking for as indicators in these resumes to try to give us clues as to whether or not they could possibly be a good fit?
Yes, good question. We've had some clients have candidates score very high in drive almost every single candidate that they've assessed. And so we've asked them, what do you look for on a resume that so consistently predicts these high drive scores? And they've said, well, they really look for three different things. Number one, of course, they look for the person that's more of a passive job seeker, if you will, than an active job seeker, because oftentimes if the person has been actively out there looking for a while in the world of sales, there can be a good reason for it. So they tend to look for the folks that are a little bit more passive. Number two, of course.
Okay, sorry. Let's not go over that one too quickly if we can't, Chris. So sure. When you say passive versus active, I imagine what you mean is when you get a resume from a candidate and they've been job hopping. So they've maybe been in a job for, 6 months, a year and a half, and they keep changing roles. That could be an indicator that they kind of give up when the going gets tough. Is this what you mean?
That's and that anticipates my next point, which is the job hopper. So that is absolutely an important. We always want to avoid job hoppers. When I'm speaking about the passive versus active candidates, the active candidate we describe as someone who's been actively out there looking for a long time. So they're actively shopping their resume around, versus the passive candidates that's not shopping their resume around. That maybe you have to find through LinkedIn. Maybe you have to do some research on your own and you find that candidate who has great experience that you're looking for, who has the background you're looking for, and you reach out to the candidate proactively. That's the passive candidate. So oftentimes, as you can imagine, those passive candidates who aren't actively out there looking for a new position, they're oftentimes very happy where they are because they have high drive, they're doing very well. But in some cases, you can actually track them, you can find them, you can bring them into your candidate pool by showing them how the opportunity that you offer them is greater than what they're doing now.
Ooh, I like that. Okay, so this is huge for anybody out there who's looking for a candidate. It sounds like what Chris is saying is it's better for you to maybe hunt for that ideal candidate rather than you sit back or rather put an ad and hope they apply for this ad. Is this what you mean?
Oh goodness, yes, absolutely. Okay. Yes. That is the first piece, looking for those more passive candidates. And you're exactly right, Tom. For the second piece, that's where we make sure that the person's not a job hopper. So they have some longevity in the positions they fill, because you're exactly right. If they've been jumping from job to job, chances are when the going gets tough, that's sort of the pattern that we've established. The best predictor, of course, as you know, of future behavior is previous behavior. So during the hiring process, we're gathering data about the way that person has behaved in the past that will allow us to predict how they're going to perform for us going forward. And that's a big piece of making sure that they're not a job hopper, if you will. Now, of course, when someone comes out of school, they're going to take maybe a year or two to kind of figure out exactly what they want to do. So the first couple of jobs will allow that a little bit. But by the time we're getting into the third and fourth position, we want to see a little bit more longevity in the positions that they've held. And then, of course, the third indicator is the person's able to provide some sort of metrics to show that they have been successful previously, just to prove, to back up that they have done well, whatever that is that satisfies you, the business owner. So whatever metrics they're able to give you to show that they have done well. When you take those three pieces all together, the person who's, again, they're not an active job seeker, they're passive, you're making sure that you're looking for somebody who's not a job hopper, and they're able to provide you metrics to show that they have done well, that tends to predict, as you can imagine, a higher overall drive score.
Yeah, I love this. So for all of you listening and watching out there, when we talk about metrics, what we're talking about is the difference between someone saying, I was a top producing sales rep, or I hit target, versus someone who says, I helped increase revenue from 100,000 per month to 300,000 per month within a 6-month period.
Exactly.